Forget what they taught you about playing nice. In the real world, influence isn't given, it's taken with strategy. In this video, I'm revealing 5 Machiavellian rules that have been used by leaders for centuries. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding power. Master these, and you'll gain an almost unfair advantage in any room you walk into. Let's begin.
Our first rule is the most underestimated weapon in your arsenal: mastering the power of silence. We live in a world that screams for attention, where everyone is desperate to prove their value by filling every moment with words. This is a strategic error. The loudest person in the room is often the least powerful because true power doesn't need to announce itself. It is simply felt. Amateurs react. They rush to defend their ego, answer every question instantly, and reveal their entire strategy before the game has even begun. This constant stream of noise is a broadcast of insecurity, not confidence. It tells your rivals everything they need to know: what makes you angry, what you desire, and what you fear. You hand them the roadmap to your own defeat without them having to do any work at all. The Machiavellian mind, however, understands that silence is a shield and a tool of perception. It is a calculated pause that gives you absolute control over time and information. While others are busy talking, you are observing, listening, and processing. You see the subtle shifts in their body language. You hear the hesitation in their voice. They are playing their hand, while yours remains completely hidden. This creates an aura of mystery and unshakable authority that a flood of words could never achieve. Here is the critical advantage. Your silence forces others to reveal themselves. It creates a psychological vacuum, and people are hardwired to fill it. In a negotiation, your silence will unnerve your opponent, compelling them to offer more concessions just to break the tension. In an argument, your calm stillness will make their emotional outbursts look uncontrolled and weak. They expose their entire position because your silence makes them profoundly uncomfortable. So, practice this. The next time someone challenges you, pause. Hold eye contact for 3 full seconds before you speak. Let the weight of that silence settle. This single act communicates that you are deliberate, you are in control, and you will respond on your terms, not theirs. Words can be traps, but silence is a fortress. By mastering it, you cease to be an open book and become an unsolvable puzzle. If silence is your shield, then our second rule is the weapon it protects: control perception to control power. Most people operate under a dangerous and naive fantasy. They believe that their hard work, their good intentions, or the objective truth of their skills will eventually speak for itself. This is why they so often fail. The world does not run on reality. It runs on the perception of reality. The average person focuses 100% on their substance while giving 0 thought to their presentation. They get the results, meet the deadlines, and then are left utterly shocked when someone less competent but more polished gets the promotion, the credit, and the respect. They complain that the world is unfair, never realizing they lost the battle before it even began, the critical battle for perception. A Machiavellian strategist knows that humans are emotional, symbolic creatures. We don't judge people with rational analysis. We judge them based on the signals they send. Your posture, your tone of voice, the way you hold eye contact. These are not trivial details. They are the data points people use to build their image of you. Power is never just given to the deserving. It is projected, and only then is it granted by others. By consciously managing these signals, you become the director of your own story in other people's minds. You don't need to announce that you are confident. Your deliberate, calm movements will do it for you. You don't have to list your accomplishments. Your authoritative presence will imply them. You are actively sculpting an image of power, and people will instinctively respond to that image as if it were fact. So, starting now, treat every interaction as a stage. Before you enter a room, decide who you want to be. Walk in with your shoulders back. Speak slightly slower than you normally would. It conveys authority. This is not about being fake. It's about ensuring your external image accurately reflects your internal ambition. You've learned to use silence as your shield and perception as your weapon. Now, we move from the external to the internal with our third and most profound rule: win the mind before winning the battle. Every conflict you will ever face, whether in a boardroom or in life, is won or lost in this unseen arena before the first move is ever made. The amateur strategist obsesses over external actions. They plan their words, assemble their resources, and rehearse their arguments. But they neglect the most fertile and decisive territory of all: the mind. They walk into battle with their own mind riddled with doubt, and they see their opponent as a physical obstacle, not a psychological one. They try to win the fight, but they have already lost the war. The Machiavellian mind understands that the physical world is merely a shadow of the mental one. If you believe you are defeated, you are. Therefore, the first and most crucial conquest is of your own mind. You must build an inner fortress of absolute certainty and resolve. Once your own mind is unbreachable, you can turn your focus outward to the second front, the mind of your opponent. This is the essence of ultimate power. It is not about crushing your rival. It is about leading them to defeat themselves. It's about planting a single, powerful seed of an idea into their consciousness, a seed of doubt in their own strategy, a seed of respect for your capabilities, or a seed of inevitability about your success. While they are busy reacting to your surface-level moves, you are fundamentally reshaping the psychological landscape on which the entire conflict rests. You lead them to the conclusion you desire, making them believe it was their own idea all along. So, before your next challenge, don't just plan what you'll do. Plan what you will believe. Fortify your mind. Then, instead of asking, "What should I say?" ask, "What do I need them to think?" Then physical world will have no choice but to follow you. We now arrive at a rule for dealing with the most common and most misunderstood human emotion: exploit the weakness hidden by pride. On the surface, pride looks like strength. It is loud, arrogant, and demands attention. But a master strategist knows that extreme pride is not armor, it is a cage. It is a brittle shield, desperately trying to hide a deep-seated insecurity or a past humiliation. When faced with a proud person, the amateur makes one of two mistakes. They are either intimidated by the aggressive display and retreat, giving up their power, or they meet pride with their own pride, engaging in a useless battle of egos that leads nowhere but to mutual destruction. Both are traps. You cannot win by fighting pride on its own terms, because pride is not the real enemy. The Machiavellian insight is this: arrogance is almost always a compensation for a profound lack. The person who boasts endlessly about their intelligence is secretly terrified of being seen as foolish. The one who flaunts their wealth is often deeply insecure about their social standing. Pride is a symptom. Your job is not to attack the symptom, but to understand and leverage the underlying condition. Once you see past their performance, you gain incredible leverage. You don't attack their pride head-on. That only makes them more defensive. Instead, you work around it. By understanding the insecurity that fuels their ego, you know exactly what they fear losing and what they crave in validation. You can offer them the validation they need to make them compliant, or you can subtly threaten the exposure they dread to make them retreat. You are no longer fighting the fortress wall. You are speaking directly to the frightened ruler inside. So, observe the proud. Listen to what they boast about the most, for that is where you will find their greatest insecurity. Let others be blinded by the dazzling display. You will see it for what it is: a map pointing directly to their greatest vulnerability. And the one who understands the map holds the key to victory. And now we arrive at the final rule, the one that ties all the others together into an unbreakable chain of influence. Always remain the mystery they cannot solve. In an age that demands transparency and celebrates oversharing, the greatest power lies in deliberate concealment. The most feared person in any room is not the loudest or the strongest. It is the one who cannot be fully understood. The average person is an open book, and an open book is easily read, easily anticipated, and easily controlled. They broadcast their plans, telegraph their emotions, and share their every thought. They believe this makes them authentic, but in the world of power, it makes them fatally predictable. And predictability is the mother of contempt and the assassin of awe. Once they know how you will react, you have already been defeated. The Machiavellian strategist understands a fundamental human truth. We are intimidated by what we cannot define. When your actions are unpredictable and your motives are unclear, you become a blank space in the minds of others. They will fill that space with their own imagination, often assuming you are more brilliant, more powerful, and more calculating than you actually are. Familiarity breeds contempt, but mystery breeds a respect that borders on fear. By remaining a mystery, you keep everyone, allies and enemies alike, permanently off balance. They cannot counter a move they did not see coming. They cannot defend against a strategy they do not comprehend. Your unpredictability forces them to be constantly reactive, while you remain proactive, operating several steps ahead. Your power is magnified because its limits are unknown. So practice strategic ambiguity. Don't announce your goals. Let your results speak for themselves. Be inconsistent in small, deliberate ways to keep people from categorizing you. Answer questions about your intentions with charm, but with vagueness. Let people wonder. For the power that can be seen and measured is limited, but the power that is only guessed at is infinite. So there you have it. The 5 rules of power. Master your silence. Control their perception. Win the war in the mind. See the weakness behind pride. And finally, always remain the mystery they cannot solve. These are not just individual tactics. They are an interconnected philosophy for navigating the complex world of human dynamics. Power is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. These principles are not given to you to become a tyrant, but to ensure you are never a victim. They are here so you can understand the game being played around you every single day, and so that you can finally play it on your own terms, with intention and with strength. Now, my question to you is, which of these 5 rules resonated with you the most? Leave your answer in the comments below. I want to know which tool you will be using first. If this guide has opened your eyes to the real dynamics of power, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more lessons in strategy. The world is full of unspoken rules. Together, we will learn all of them